Because I believe a lot of this unpacking we have to do can't be done by somebody sitting on a couch. It's a spiritual thing that has to happen to unpack the feeling of self-worth. I mean, those self-worth ideas, they have to be unpacked. And not only do they have to be unpacked, but then we have to burn them, right? We gotta do something with them. And then in doing something with them, we have to find out who we are as this new person. Because without carrying those old things, who am I?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Deep MCs, the podcast that seeks to push meaningful conversation to a whole new level. Whether it's for your entertainment or your personal growth, we appreciate you being here today. And now, on to the show. What's going on, man?
Shep, we here again.
One more time.
Yes, sir.
Episode I don't know. Episode I don't know.
But we cranking them out.
But, hey,
let's get them done.
That's right.
Yep.
Get them while we have them.
Hopefully you guys are getting some out of the content we're creating, because we're not just here for fun, right? We enjoy it.
We do. You know what? We haven't said in a while.
What haven't we said?
We need everybody to like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, there we go.
For all things Deep MCs. If you do love the show and you are listening to the show, can you do us a favor? Tell one person.
At least one. Yep.
That is not listening to the show. Have them tune in. Check us out. Help us out.
Yeah.
Help us spread the word.
You know, if you're being blessed by the content.
Exactly.
Share the content.
All right. Don't just tell me.
Right.
You enjoy it. I appreciate it. Thank you. But let somebody else know. Share the enjoyment, right? What are we getting into today? Hey,
man. So, we always talk about, our mental health, right? And we dig into that. And so today we're going to dig a little bit into, do you know the triggers, right? Of things that are going to take you kind of off that deep end, right? If you deal with depression or you deal with just some kind of emotional shifts or changes, right? Where you kind of retreat or seclude yourself from other people, whatever those things are that you do as your defense mechanism. Are there some things that tell you, hey, it's on the way, that maybe you can shift or move away from to help, so that you're going to continue that cycle? Right. Make sense?
All right. It makes sense to me, right? It makes sense to me. I have a lot of them triggers. I have a lot of, but before we jump into that, that's the thing though too, which is weird, right? Because for me, one of my biggest struggles is I see the signs. Yeah. The writing's on the wall. Yeah. But I can't veer off the road.
Can't veer off?
I can't go around it.
That's crazy. It's crazy to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's right before you. And so the question I have, do you want to?
Do I want to veer around?
Do you want to veer?
I don't know.
Or is that a safe place because it's been consistent?
I mean, it's hard. It's definitely hard. I mean, I don't know if I would say that I want to or I don't want to veer. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how
to veer. Okay.
How to veer.
Okay.
Right. I think that's probably the bigger thing about it, because, but also at the same time, I am a bit of a, I don't want to say masochist. That's not the right word, because I think a masochist is someone that gets sexual gratification out of hurting oneself. I don't know. Okay. I don't know the full definition, but I do. When bad things happen, I'm like, I deserve this. When depression happens, it's like, I deserve this, right? And it's weird, right? It's not like I deserve this. I can't explain the feeling. It's very hard to explain the feeling now that I'm actually sitting here trying to put it into words. Yeah. Right? Like, I don't get gratification out of my suffering. I don't, because I'm definitely suffering, but my mind is in a place of peace knowing I'm getting what I deserve, which is the suffering. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's a lot, man.
It is.
Okay, so yeah, there's a pause in the show here because I'm that's okay.
It's hard to explain.
There's gratification. You're not getting, there's no gratification, but you're okay with the suffering because you felt like you deserved it.
Yes.
So where does the feeling of deserving it, does that stem from something else?
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Because if we can get, and we're not counselors like that, right? We're not degreed or anything like that, right? We try to unpack what we can unpack, and the rest of it, help us out if you know.
Yeah.
Put that in the comments so we can unpack some more, right?
Right.
But there's something that's a trigger then. So something triggers even that thought. Right. So something else that's a trigger. That thought is triggered by something else over here, a lack of something or a missing piece of something that allows that to trigger and then create this thought process that I deserved this. And is there a place where you felt like you did something completely wrong? Like you were so bad that what you did was unforgivable?
Oh, I mean, most definitely. Most definitely, right? So
are you going back to that and pulling the energy from these unforgiven moments in life where you may have just not been old enough or educated enough or experienced enough?
I don't think it's any one thing specifically, right? It's a culmination of everything. So, there's a little bit of the growing up and never being good enough.
Yeah, of course. And we've talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that before, right? So it's a combination of that. There's also a lot of I was a really bad person, especially coming out of high school, starting into early adulthood. I've done a lot of stuff. I did a lot of stuff I don't talk about.
Yeah, I got you.
Maybe I'll write a book about it, right? You're writing books. Maybe you'll show me how to write a book about it, right? But I've hurt a lot of people.
Okay.
Emotionally.
Okay.
I've definitely hurt a lot of people physically.
Okay.
That's a whole nother story. But yeah, I've done things I shouldn't have. I've committed a lot of violent acts.
Okay.
I've dabbled in a lot of other things, right? And even going into trying to figure out early, adulthood or whatever, you come in and out of people's lives, you hurt them. There's just a lot of things that go through as you're trying to learn. And yeah, it's easy for people to write me, oh, well, this happened, so this is why you acted out, or, you were young, you were a young adult, you're whatever. Right. But I was still knowledgeable.
You knew what you were doing.
I still knew what I was doing, even though I may not have been mature enough at the time or whatever. But then, you also can't go back and repair a lot of those things, right?
Okay.
Father or mother are passed. You can't go back and repair those things. I can't go back to the dude that owed somebody $100, so I had to go beat their face in and say, my bad, dude. I was in a different place. But I'm good, right? You can't. There's a lot of things I can't go back and undo. You hurt people emotionally. You can't always go back, especially if they don't want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. You can't go back and be like, hey, I was a fucked up person then.
Well, what's wrong with that conversation though? Because
a lot of times they won't. No, I'm not saying you can't. So they don't want to talk to you,
even if they don't.
Because if they don't want to hear you out, they don't want to have any.
But what if it's not? And so okay, there's a reason they don't have to forgive you.
Yeah.
But can you forgive you?
I mean, you can always forgive yourself at some point, but you need something to be able to find that forgiveness. Right. Mm-hmm. And for me, the things, it's hard. I have a very hard time finding forgiveness for myself if I haven't been able to rectify or at least
with the person or
at least attempt to rectify the situation, right?
Are there some attempts that could be made?
Oh, I mean, you can always make attempts, but they have not been successful. But also at the same time, like some of that stuff is so far gone, I couldn't find the people.
I got it.
You know what I'm saying? If I tried.
I got it.
So, and not just people, just myself. And like I said, I can't go back and talk to mom. I can't go back and talk to dad. I can't go back and talk to uncle. Whatever it is, to have those things. So it's hard. And people say, oh, well, you just let it go or you whatever. But I feel, and I know everybody goes through things.
Yeah.
And people do find forgiveness, and people do horrendous things, and there's people that have done far worse things than I have, that are trying to find forgiveness or be better every single day. But then there's also a lot of people, the majority of the people that I come across, that are like, hey, you just have to forgive yourself, or you just have to be like, they haven't even done a 10th of what I've done, right? Like, the worst thing they did, they got caught, shoplifting when they were 15. Like, bro, that's light work.
Yeah, I got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, like, cool. I forgave myself. I should have, like,
right.
Please, like that's nothing. In comparison, right? So it's very hard for me to be like, yeah, because you told me I should just forgive myself. Like, you haven't done anything.
I got you.
And if you were in my situation, would you feel the same way? Would you just be like, oh, it's okay? I don't think that they would.
Yeah.
Right? There's things that haunt people forever.
Yeah, right.
Right. There's things that you just can't get away from, and the best you can do is learn how to cope with it and keep moving. Right?
We talked about in a previous show, man, how we, we have to get through the hard parts. Like, we start good out the gate, quick out the gate, and then we'll hit roadblocks, and then sometimes we'll just push that to the side, right?
Yeah.
Because, the effort and energy to get through that is just too much sometimes. And it seems like I've done this enough, so boom, I'm good with it, right? I think this may even apply to this, right? Because I think there's more. The guy that I see today is different than the guy that you talk of, right?
For sure.
Right? You're a different person.
Kind of.
And I'm saying whatever you've done, there's been some work that you put in to be different. Even if you've mastered it well, right? Whatever that is, you're not that same guy, because you and I wouldn't be able to sit here and do this if you were that same guy. It just wouldn't work, right?
Yeah.
But there's clearly something else that has happened. Something has occurred to shift your thought process, shift your mindset, to grow you up. And so it seems like the man today is still paying retribution for the man of yesterday.
I mean, yeah, a little bit, right? A little bit. It's like I have a relationship with myself, right? You talk about when you're in relationships with people, as friendships, romantic, whatever. We say, hey, don't let the current person pay for the past person's mistakes, right? It's the same thing with myself,
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you said, we talked about, we're getting way off topic.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, guys. We're getting way off topic.
We're in mental health. We're there.
Yeah, we're way off topic, right?
Yep.
But
we talked about triggers. These are triggers.
These are triggers.
These are triggers.
But yeah, so it's interesting because we talked about, we did a series about wearing masks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We kind of brushed on things, and that could have went on for forever, but it definitely is a mask. And a lot of times people think, or they assume, matter of fact, I had a conversation not too long ago at work, and I got a compliment for doing a good job, and I didn't take the compliment very well.
I got you.
And then they were like, "Oh, well, you just wanna act cool about it, was it because you want me to continue to tell you that you're doing a good job?" Like, no, I don't. I don't like compliments.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I don't feel that I deserve it, right? And that's hard for people to understand. And people will see me a lot of times, and they assume that I have it together, right? They have it, when every day I'm mentally suffering, like every single day, right? And it is very well like, am I physically removed from the person I was, 20 years, 25, whatever, however many years ago, right? Yeah, physically, yes. But I'm always on that razor's edge from one. One.
He's always present.
Yeah, just one thing, the straw that broke the camel's back, and then I'm right back. I'm right back to where I was, right? And it's a fight every single day to not be that person. It's weird, even though all the jobs that I've had, whatever it may be, and I always just look and I just say, oh my God, like someone's pissing me off or being annoying, or they think they can come and talk to me any kind of way. And I'm just like, you have no idea. If you would have,
the lion I'm holding back right now.
If you would have met, not that I'm a badass or whatever, right? There's always someone tougher than you for sure. But at the same time, like there was a point where I was a fucking maniac. And it didn't matter. Like, I may not be able to whoop your ass, but I'm gonna back this fucking car over you. Just whatever it is. I got it. That's just how I was, and it's still there. Like, it's not ever gonna go away. You only just find ways to keep it under control, mainly because you have to, I guess. I don't know,
man. I wild animals are always still wild animals, right? Even when they've taken them and they put them in the circus and they think everything's good, and there's something that triggers, right? We talk about triggers. There's some movement that the trainer does that triggers this movement, right? And now that here we are in the middle of the circus,
dragging you on there,
right, bouncing you up, because that's what they do with, that's what they do with their prey, right?
Yeah.
And so here it is, man. I think that there's good in the fact that dude is always present sometimes. And the reason I say that is because you've grown to the place where you realize, hey, dude, you are not going to destroy any more of my life. And so as close as he is to the edge sometimes, right, you still have the strength. You've built enough strength. You've built enough determination. You've built a resolution in your own thoughts, however fragile it may be, to say, not today.
Yeah, but that's where it gets it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
That's the process we talked about, right?
Because it is, right? So the wild animal is always wild. It's just like dogs, right? You have a dog, but then once you just let them go, if you let them go back in the wild, they were pigs. Convert real fast.
Right, they revert.
They real fast to wild.
Because there's a survival thing, right? That has to kick in.
For sure, there is, and it's hard for me because the person, it's a very stark contrast. It's a very stark contrast of that person to this person, right? And that person, although subdued, still affects my current thoughts, today. That person is a very,
I see him in a different light. Like I'm able to see him sometimes. I see the young man. I see him. And we, that's the guy that I see, and I'm like, you know what? I see him. I see you, dude. But this dude is not there anymore. I see him fighting through it. I see him boxing. That internal fight, that internal war is happening. I'm lost for words because I can see it, and I don't know how to explain it. But that comes from relationship and all of those kind of things, right? And I've seen you build trust within yourself, right? You're trusting people more, at least me. I don't know about anybody else. But
we're like, I don't know who the fuck you talking about.
I don't know about anybody else. You trusting me more, and in trusting me more, I'm able to see you trust yourself more, right? You're trusting yourself with your own thoughts. You're trusting yourself with this conversation. You're trusting yourself with putting things out there that I think expose him.
Yeah.
Right. And so now you don't have to deal with him by yourself. We talked about building a team, right? Now we're building a team that helps us to be like, you know what? Hey, dude, not today.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
some help with that, right? There's a conversation in the middle of the week that says, hey man, you know, he getting the best of me today. You know what I'm saying? And somebody understands that and doesn't be like, well, what you got to do is you got to do A, B, C, D, you know, and just piss him off even more. But I think that's part of it, is being, that guy wasn't vulnerable. You know, he had built up a wall, but this guy is brick by brick tearing down the wall that he began to build up, you know, so. I don't think he's as strong as he used to be.
I don't know. Let's hope we don't. let's hope we don't find.
And if we
out,
do see him, man, you know,
because then we're gonna need all of the Deep MC's followers to put some money on my books. Help me get out.
Like, comment, subscribe, so we can build up some cash flow.
So we can bail me out when I lose my shit. You know, yeah. I mean, it's interesting, man, and I don't know. It's a process. I would like to say I have the answer, but I haven't figured out the answer yet.
And it's okay.
You know, and I haven't figured out what it is.
Don't put that stress on your life, man, to have all the answers.
I have enough. I have enough stress as it is.
We got enough. It's enough already in there.
Yeah, but triggers, going back to what we said, the triggers and how that happens. I will say for me, like, I find myself being very hypercritical of myself, right? Like, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Everything that I do, every movement, everything I write, every dish I wash, excuse me, like, it's super critical of it. Like, well, that could have been better, this could have been better, that could have been better. And so I start to become really judgy of myself. Anything that's good makes me very uncomfortable. Like, very, very uncomfortable, to the point of, like, getting mad. Like, I get
because you don't deserve anything good,
you know. So, like, that will start to get me a lot. I can tell people, when people ask me for, you know, questions or whatever, like, I'm just like, I want to be as far away from them as possible, you know, because I'm starting that withdrawal, you know, mentally. I just want to be away. But also, oddly enough, when I remove myself from whatever situation it is, my energy level goes up. So if I remove myself from people, talking to people, or I remove myself from work where I have to interact with people, like, I could be at work dead tired, exhausted from the day. The moment I know that I'm done, my energy level, boom, just like goes through the roof, right? Or if I'm hanging out with whoever, wherever, I'm somewhere, I'm out at an event or whatever, not that I do all these things that often, but it's great. Yeah, fine, cool. You see your friends, you see whatever, you go to a concert, but leaving that scenario, my energy level goes up. Right? It's like, I'm just so happy to be by myself, to be by myself. And so that's how I know I'm about to hit that low point. So that becomes a trigger when you need that space excites you. Yes. To be by yourself. Yes. It sounds weird. It sounds no. It doesn't sound weird, right? But it doesn't sound weird. So now I know. Okay, now I'm by myself. I know that there's gonna be zero interruptions. Okay. For whatever it is, whether it's a day, 2 days, whatever. But this is a trigger that lets me know that the moment of me just being completely by myself. And then that dark cloud is coming. Yeah, I got it. You know, and that dark cloud descends and sits on top of me. And then I go through and I work on whatever it is I need to work through in that time, right? But also I need that downtime for me to find the strength to come up and do all the bullshit again. You need that.
You need that period
I need that suffering.
You need that checkout.
Yes, let me suffer.
Okay.
And then I'll get back with you.
I can get back in the game after this.
Yeah.
Like I can come back full speed, and I can do this for another 6 months before 6 months, a year, or 2 years before I need to be back here.
Yeah. Now, and I mean, there's varying levels of that, right? Like
yeah.
There's some points where I'm way lower than that, and I need help. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely that happens, but a lot of the times, like, I just have these moments of shutdown, and it's very hard. It's very hard for people to understand, right? And that's why also I don't have a ton of people in my life because they don't understand.
Take it personal.
Yeah, they get way too personal. They think it's all about them. Oh, you just don't want to talk to me? Like, no,
right.
It's not that I want to. I also haven't talked to A, B, C, D, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we have, like I said, the text group with a bunch of guys. You know, I haven't been in that text group in a hot minute. A few of those guys reach out independently and just say, "Hey, are you okay?" And even then, I don't answer them back. I have one of them unread still now, and they messaged me probably 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not that I am just trying to be an asshole or whatever. It's just I can't muster the energy.
Yeah.
To have
explain.
Right. To explain and have that conversation. Right.
I got it.
But then it's also not fair to a lot of people, because the people that can't understand, it's not fair for me to be able to come back and expect them to be like, I never left. Does that make sense?
I understand.
It's just, I don't know.
So you're giving them the open door to be like, I don't want to fool with you anymore.
Yeah.
And you're doing that because you've gotten to the place. I don't even want to try to work through that part. What I think, because the thing over here is before the trigger, right? Over here, it's just you don't necessarily trust them enough to just understand, right? I don't want to have to. If you just say it's one of those days, I've gotten to the point now where I kind of have an idea. I don't know the depth of it, but I'll have an idea about what one of those days is, right?
Right, yeah.
And so at that point, I'm doing something different. I know that okay, well, what does that day look like? Okay, well, okay, well, what are you doing? Okay, can I come by? Do you want to hang out? I know all of those things are going to be like, okay, he's getting on my nerves, right? I've gotten to those points, right, where I'm starting to pick some of those things up. But the other thing that I also do is, for me, in my process, how I get through some of those moments of trigger is I begin to pray, you know? Right. And so on the end where I know I can't make a physical shift in how you're operating, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's a spiritual thing that can happen, right? Because I believe a lot of this unpacking we have to do can't be done by somebody sitting on a couch. It's a spiritual thing that has to happen to unpack the feeling of self-worth. I mean, those self-worth ideas, they have to be unpacked. And not only do they have to be unpacked, but then we have to burn them, right? We gotta do something with them. And then in doing something with them, we have to find out who we are as this new person. Because without carrying those old things, who am I? You know, and I think that's a lot of what we're dealing with even now. You, me, everybody else that's at the table that has these triggers that cause us to do something different. It's because we don't know if I give this up, this guy has been with me, the little shepherd, the little Aaron, Lil A, right, has been with me for the last 44 years. And if I unpack him, who am I without him? What does life look like for me without, what do I do in my day now if I don't have to worry about him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if I give up the little boy that I failed, right? That I wasn't in the right place to work through the situation right. I didn't have the right conversation with him. I wasn't in the right place. Somebody didn't treat me right. If I give him up and I let him deal with his own problem, right? The problem he's now trying to place on me as an adult. If I put him over there and I say, hey, dude, I can't answer those questions anymore because the people who are here to answer them can't.
Right.
But I can't live my life packing you anymore, then who am I? And I think that's a lot of the fear that forces us into these scenarios and allows us to sit down in these situations and feel deserving of them, is because sometimes I still got to feed dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't starve.
Yeah.
If I starve him, then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Am I gonna feel bad if Lil A starves? Then what do I have left? You know, am I gonna feel bad because Lil A starved because I should have fed him a long time ago?
Right.
So now I feed him every day with my doubt. I feed him every day with my fear, and he's fat. That dude is chunky.
Yep, weighing you down.
He got the husky pants on, you know what I'm saying? For those young big boys, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Who know about the huskies. He's wearing huskies, but I'm unpacking him every day. And for me, with all of the things we talked about, with all of the things that we'd even continue to discuss and we'll continue to unpack, we almost gotta starve Lil A. You know, we gotta starve Lil Shepherd, right? That guy that was looking up in the stands but didn't see anybody. You know, he creates a thirst and a hunger for something every day, right? And I need it, and I gotta be fed by it. And if you don't feed me, then we going left. You know what I'm saying? Cause you know, I get hangry.
Yeah.
You know,
for
and
sure.
if we don't feed them, man, they will destroy us. And we got to deal with those little guys, man, that were disappointed. Those little guys that were angry and operated out of that anger. Those little guys that didn't ask for forgiveness because they didn't know how to. Right. And it's those little guys, man, are holding us back from being the true men we're supposed to be. And I know that for me, for a lot of other men I talk to. It's not just sitting at this table. There's a whole lot of men, even women, boys, all of them. Everybody out there, right?
Yeah.
We're holding on to those little people, man, that have if somehow, some way, we can release them to move on. And the only way I know how to do that is through a spiritual means. Because anything natural, if we could have done it naturally, we'd have done it already. You know. So yeah, that's my soapbox.
That's all you had to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Right. Mic drop. Done.
I mean, dude.
Yeah.
We're talking about these triggers, and honestly, I didn't come to that realization until us sitting right here, right? And yeah, your life is completely different than mine, but both of us have these little guys we're packing, right? Both of us have. I've been through abuse. I've been through all of those kind of things too. I chose a different route than you.
Right.
I chose to be the guy that was going to do everything because I didn't want anybody else to go through what I went through. So let me be the best at all of these things, and I'll always be available. I'll always be here. I'll give you everything I have so that you never feel what I felt. So we all choose different routes, but they all come from
the same place. Yeah.
Right? And so I can't sit here and judge you at the table. There's no way. Right? And you're the little guy that's yelling in your ear. I got one yelling in mine too. Right? But we got to get rid of them little dudes, man.
Hey.
They tripping.
Coming soon, new episode, how to get rid of the little guy.
How to get rid of the little guy. Dad, I got chills when you said it. How to get rid of the little guy.
Coming soon, man.
Yeah.
Well, good. Look, leave it there. We're going to come back. Next round, how to get rid of the little guy.
We own it.
I like it.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We appreciate you listening for sure. But we need your help.
Yeah, we need your help. We need you to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can continue to make great content for you guys.
Yeah. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe.
and it's right here on the screen. Everything you need.
Right there. Thank you so much, guys, for listening.
All right, take care.